And thank you for converting your business over. We appreciate that.
Hi, I represent an organization called Hard-Hatted Women, and hundreds of women call us who are very much the population you're talking about. Majority are low income, many are City of Cleveland residents, over half are minorities. So, and while these industries you're talking about do have this new focus on sustainability, which is really important, they also tend to be industries where women continue to be underrepresented. So can you just talk about signs of hope that you're seeing or signs of commitment to try and reverse that gender segregation that we know continues to exist in higher wage fields? Thank you.
I guess that's me. We've been affiliated with Hard-Hatted Women for a number of years. Our training director, Jean Stepanek, has been on their board there for a while. They provide pre-apprenticeship training. We have a number of members within our local union who came out of the Hard-Hatted Women program. So we, as an apprenticeship program here in Local 38, are very familiar with the work that's being done by Hard-Hatted Women.
I'd actually ask both the other speakers if you could address that.
Sure.
I will just offer one sign of hope is that this work group that I keep mentioning, it has been a thread of conversation that I have not been able to pay too much attention to, but it just started in the last week. And so I'd be happy to loop you in because this group that I'm representing is a work group of a community of practice that is meant to be very inclusive and transparent with resources on the website. So I want to be sure to make, as things come online, to make sure people within the college certainly know, but within the region know, and I can link you up with that. So see me after, because I'll figure out how to connect you.
I guess I would address it this way. Community action serves their communities, serves the low income within their communities. And over the years, we've tended to hire from our communities to the extent possible. Now, as a practical matter, in the mid-90s, we had a significant cut in our federal funding, and it went by seniority, and so a lot of the women that had come into the agencies had less seniority, and that kind of changed that. But I think you'll see we certainly don't exclude women from our workforces. We work with contractors. We want our workforces to represent our communities.
First of all, just in listening to all four of you, it gives me hope, at least going forward. Lots of optimism, I think, in the wake of lots of pessimistic stories. I teach at Kent State University, and one of the issues that often arises is dropout rates and retention. And I think a lot of times students struggle in part because they don't feel like they have any other options, and so they end up going to college. Because I think in this country there's this stigma of not attending university, which actually is one of the differences. I do think, you mentioned Germany. I think one of the things about Germany is that certainly college graduates still earn more, but there's not nearly the kind of stigma there is here about not attending school. I guess I'm wondering, Eric Fingerhut, state superintendent, and others at the state level have thought a lot about retention. I'm wondering what opportunities or whether any of you have kind of gone to some of our state universities like Bowling Green or Kent or other places that do have high dropout rates, and sort of are there programs in place that catch students who sort of struggle and leave school with loans and sort of a feeling that they haven't succeeded, you know.
Courtney, did you? I'll have two comments. One is putting a different hat on. I also am working with an organization called the Regional Talent Network, and it's a newly formed collaboration that was formed by the state of Ohio, the area chambers in a 16-county region, and the Fund for Our Economic Future. And we're actually charged with looking at the overall talent development system to not only create more alignment between the university system as well as the employer private sector, the folks that have the jobs, but also to look at the whole workforce system as kind of a macro system and try to diagnose some of its problems and opportunities and figure out how to make the system work better. So I can assure you that your themes are being discussed in that context. In fact, I just came from a meeting where that was actually specifically discussed. And then I guess one specific topic that or opportunity is the recently released grant funding from the state that was a part of last year's Building Ohio Jobs stimulus program. It's a $250 million over 5 years focus on internships and co-ops, which is an important tool to help retain students if they can find meaningful work and with employers where there are potential not only jobs but career pathways. We'll have a much better chance of retaining them, so to speak. So that's a very promising thing, with which I know that your institution is actually affiliated with a proposal, and there are others in the region that are going to be going after those funds. So that's a specific opportunity that I think will help.
I'll just say in closing, having been asked to provide hope, I can't overlook that opportunity. And I feel like when we look at our economy right now, when we look at what's going on at the federal level, when we look at us trying to rescue a financial system that's been badly mismanaged, when we look at us trying to rescue a globe that has been allowed to heat up and allowed to have levels of pollution that are unacceptable, I think it does give me hope that we can take this on. We can rebuild a middle class in this country. For 40 years after World War II, we had an economy that really grew together, that was largely inclusive, and that enabled people to have a better standard of living than their parents, and to hope that their children could have a better standard of living as well. And I think that this green jobs economy is a part of forging a new economy that looks that way again, and I think it's very consistent with our traditions in this country, and we should just all embrace it.
Today at the City Club, we've been listening to a special program on green jobs featuring Courtney DeOreo, Carl Scheutzow, David Rinebolt, and moderated by Amy Hanauer. Thank you, panelists, and thank you, ladies and gentlemen. This program is now adjourned.